Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Donna Hamilton. Officials in Howard County are about to give us an update on last night's devastating flooding in Howard County and Ellicott City, where at least 2 people were killed, a man and a woman. Governor Larry Hogan declared a state of emergency in that county, as you may know. The hardest hit area, Main Street in Ellicott City. We are expecting to hear, okay, they are already beginning to speak, so let's go there live.
Before we go into specific comments, I want to express my thanks to the residents of Ellicott City and those in Howard County. It's hard to believe that it's been less than 24 hours since the storm began. And we've had tremendous support by the residents and the businesses down in Ellicott City. We've never seen such devastation. I've lived in Howard County well over 50 years. I've never seen such devastation, but we have folks in Ellicott City who are committed to making sure that this storm does not defeat them. And they've shown that they have the willpower and the determination to keep on keeping on and to make Ellicott City a vibrant and wonderful community again. I also want to thank Governor Hogan, Lieutenant Governor Rutherford for both coming here, as well as Congressman Elijah Cummings. They have both come, or all three have come, to express support. The governor, Lieutenant Governor, has said that whatever resources they have at their disposal are at our disposal. Congressman Cummings has let us know that he will work hard to make sure that we get the federal relief that we need. I've also received calls from Senators Cardin and Mikulski, and also talked with Congressman Sarbanes. I'm very thankful that we have such a strong federal delegation that are putting Howard County residents as a priority. Nearly 6 inches of rain fell between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. yesterday. Roughly, that's the equivalent of a whole month of rain normally. Unfortunately, with that amount of rain comes tremendous force of water and tremendous difficulties in Ellicott City, causing tremendous damage. We're going to have folks talk to you about certain items. They'll come up individually, they'll introduce themselves. But I also want to bring up first Colonel Palazzi from the Maryland State Police Superintendent. He's representing Governor Hogan in the state here. They've been tremendous partners. So if you could like to say a few words, Colonel.
Thank you, County Executive. Again, I'm Colonel William Palazzi, Superintendent of the State Police. Lieutenant Governor Rutherford was here last night, toured the area with the County Executive, Governor Hogan this morning. Approximately 1 p.m. we convened a conference call with the State Cabinet as well as representatives from the county government to offer any and all support we can. Specifically from the State Police, there's approximately 40 troopers will be coming in to assist Howard County in static points and asking folks to stay away from the downtown Ellicott City area so fire, the utility companies can do their work. So I thank you again, and we're here to help you.
Thank you very much. Ryan Miller. Introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Miller. I'm the Emergency Management Director for Howard County. Just like Executive Kittleman just mentioned, we only get through things like this because of partnerships in our community, as well as just the different layers of government, from federal to state, and then here at the county level as well. As the Colonel and the Executive mentioned, we've been in contact with the Maryland Emergency Management Agency since last night. In fact, they've provided some staff here to make the coordination of resources that much smoother. And they've actually helped facilitate bringing in resources from outside the state even. We have an incident management team that's arriving now from Pennsylvania to assist us. Throughout the evening, last night and all night and today, we've had our operations center open. You're going to hear from some of those representatives, but it's pretty much been all hands on deck here with all county agencies, all performing different functions that are called out in our emergency operations plan. I'd like to introduce to you Police Chief Gary Gardner.
Good evening. My name is Gary Gardner, and I'm Chief of Police for Howard County. First of all, I would like to address some information that has been reported in the media regarding fatalities and also the number of missing individuals. We have 2 confirmed fatalities that have been recovered on the Baltimore County side of the river. The Baltimore County Police Department is responsible for that investigation. Very soon they will be releasing information regarding the identities of those 2 victims. One victim was washed away as a pedestrian who was navigating along Main Street and was swept away. The second person was in an automobile with another person, in which they became in stress as they were crossing the bridge and left their vehicle. One was able to go to safety, and the other one, unfortunately, was carried downstream. They were recovered early this morning by Baltimore County Police, and they are doing that investigation. And let me confirm, we do not have any other missing person reports at this time. If that changes, we will update you. Also, the scene security in the Main Street area. We are in a state of emergency in that area, and no one other than emergency personnel are allowed in that area, to include residents and also to include business people. We will work as quickly as possible, and when that opportunity becomes available, we will allow those individuals to go back down to their businesses. We will be providing security 24/7 in that area to ensure that no one goes into those homes or businesses unauthorized. And fortunately, I'd like to thank Colonel Palazzi and the Maryland State Police. They are providing more than 40 troopers to assist us with scene security and traffic control in that area so we can ensure the protection of the property that remains in that area. And finally, we have over 170 vehicles that have been impacted by the water and they're not drivable. We're in the process of towing those vehicles from the roadways, parking lot, and also the river. And that will take some time. Those vehicles will be towed to a location nearby, and probably sometime tomorrow morning, you'll be receiving information in the process that you can reclaim those vehicles. And as soon as we can get the vehicles towed to that off-site location, we will pass that information along to you. At this time, I would like to introduce Chief Rommel from the Fire Department.
Good evening. Thank you, Chief. I'm Deputy Fire Chief Frank Rommel, Howard County Department of Fire Rescue Services. Our primary focus last night was swiftwater rescues along Main Street, the Patapsco River. This morning, we shifted gears into secondary searches in the vehicles, in the building, and along the Patapsco River. We also assisted our county agencies with structural stability of several of the buildings along Main Street. I'd like to introduce Jim.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim Irvin, Director of Public Works. Public Works' role in this event is to, we have a ruptured water main that's along Main Street. We've been spending most of the day getting that fixed to provide fire service in the area and to try to restore some water service. The next phase of our operation will be the debris management and removal. Once the cars are removed from the street and in the stream, we'll begin that effort over the next several days. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Bob Francis. I'm the Director of the Department of Inspections, Licenses, and Permits, the building department, if you will. Our agency is the lead agency in charge of the emergency support function for damage assessment. We've had personnel on the field today. We've evaluated approximately 200 buildings along the Main Street corridor that stretch from the Patapsco River westward to approximately Ellicott Mills Drive. 4 to 5 of those buildings will be classified as destroyed. Approximately 20 to 30 have received significant damage, with the remainder of the other buildings receiving some level of damage. Those numbers are preliminary at this point, and we hope to have more final numbers with some financial damage estimates later tomorrow afternoon.
Good evening. I'm Larry Tweel, CEO of the Howard County Economic Development Authority. Our charge is to help coordinate response to help the businesses recover, reopen, and rebuild. We are working with our state and local business agencies to help coordinate resources for these businesses. We're also reaching out to our local private sector partners who can help provide resources such as temporary storage or temporary office space as well to help our businesses at least get back operational. Thank you.
And I'd also like to say we have a very generous community here in Howard County and Ellicott City. And I've been struck by the outpouring of the support that we've seen. Lots of offers of volunteers, lots of offers of donations. Very much appreciated. I wanted everyone to know that we have been coordinating for all cash donations for the residents through a dedicated fund with the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross will be letting us know tomorrow the name of the fund and how people can donate. We wanted to make sure that people had a place to go, to direct it to a group that we know would get to the residents. Please, don't bring unsolicited items down to the Roger Carter Center or somewhere else down in Main Street, Ellicott City. It's not time for that. It doesn't help us right now. We need to be able to do the debris removal, to check out the buildings, secure them. It doesn't help to have unsolicited items right now. Also, we've been in coordination with the Community Action Council of Howard County. They have agreed to have at their food bank, an area set aside for food that is donated to help the residents of Ellicott City. So if you have food that you would like to donate, please contact the Community Action Council of Howard County. I was told that they would be opening their food bank at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I also know that the Ellicott City Partnership has indicated that they are seeking or taking donations to help the local businesses downtown. So we'll have that information on our website and Facebook as well, where you can contact them. I want to I see here that Council Chairperson Calvin Ball is here and Councilwoman Jen Terraza is here. Also Gary Smith, who's representing Councilman John Weinstein, who represents the area in Ellicott City. I'd like to see if both Councilman Ball and Councilman Terraza, do you want to say a couple words? Why don't you come up with it?
As County Executive indicated, this is quite a devastating turn of events. However, we are coming together as a community. We're going to continue working together. There is a state of emergency. However, as we move forward, if there is, for example, a need for extension, that will be a legislative action, and we'll make sure that we do, even though we're in recess, we come together and we make sure that our community is taken care of. We are stronger than the storm, and we will be rebuilding and showing that strength, and we'll be rebuilding even better and stronger. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jen. The council has been very involved. We've had constant communication. We've had conference calls with the council members. I also want to stress that Councilman John Weinstein has been very involved. He unfortunately is out of the area, but he has been in constant contact with me and other members and has been very involved. This is his district. These are a lot of people he knows very well and very personally. I also see the delegate for downtown Ellicott City is here. Delegate Bob Flanagan, do you want to make a couple comments?
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate the dedication that is shown by our public officials. Alan, I know you stayed up all night working on this problem, getting a jump on it. Lieutenant Governor Rutherford was here last night and walked through Ellicott City with us, talked to the police and first responders. Thank you so much for the work that the first responders did in saving lives, and the work of county and state officials all night and continuing all day today on this problem. Governor Hogan was here. Governor Hogan is devoted and is committed to helping the county resolve and build up Ellicott City again. And of course, Congressman Cummings also was here with us this morning when we took this tour. So there is really a perfect example of government working together. The people of Ellicott City, the businesses have been hit very, very hard, and I don't think anybody should underestimate the degree of damage that has been done and the work that's going to have to be done and the time that it's going to take to do it. But there's a lot of dedication and there's a lot of people rolling up their sleeve ready to get that work done. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Flanagan. And I would just reiterate, the folks here in Howard County, the emergency personnel, the first responders have been amazing. But I will never forget seeing that video of the human chain saving that person out of that car. I'll never forget that, because that tells me what people in Ellicott City are like. That tells me that that's what people in Howard County are like. That tells me that this is not going to defeat us. We're going to become a stronger, better community, because that's who we are. With that, I'd like to open up for questions. Everyone's here to answer them, so if anyone has any questions.
Okay, you've been listening to Howard County Executive Alan Kittleman and many others, obviously importing a lot of imparting a lot of important information. Just a few high points. There were 2 fatalities last night confirmed. No missing people at this point, none at all. But the Baltimore County Police are going to be coordinating that investigation because it was on the Baltimore County side of the river. But they were both people who were swept away in the floodwaters. Keep in mind, no one other than emergency personnel right now is allowed in Ellicott City. Even if you're a resident there, you cannot go back right now. They will let people know when they can return. There's going to be 24/7 security, so don't even try it. About 170 vehicles, they say, that are not drivable are being towed from the river and the sidewalks and the parking lots. Obviously, that's going to take a lot of time. You'll find out later where this site is, where your car is being towed, if your car is one of those. Also, no unsolicited donations right now. And a lot of people are like, oh, I've got building materials, I've got food, I've got all this stuff that they could use. Well, one time soon that will be true. But right now they have no way to coordinate it. They're saying, please, please, just don't bring anything down there right now. There is going to be a food bank that will open at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And Tony, unfortunately, we're hearing that more storms could be headed our way this afternoon, right?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this,
Terrible.
but there are some thunderstorms just west of us out in the mountains. And now for the present time, in the short term, most of it's heading down towards Washington, D.C. The pretty strong cell there in Montgomery County. It's dry in Ellicott City right now, but there's probably going to be at least a little bit of light rain there in the next half hour, 45 minutes. But this initial cell here is just west of Leesburg, heading through Montgomery County and down towards D.C. The present time it's dry in Baltimore, but the further we go into the evening, the better the chance that maybe at least some spotty showers and thunderstorms will pop up again. We'll talk more about that during the news at 6 o'clock. Donna?
All right, thank you, Tony. Very serious situation today in Howard County and certainly on Main Street, Ellicott City. If you are someone who does need assistance in Ellicott City, the number to call is on your screen right now. That's 410-313-2900. Again, 410-313-2900. And the Ellicott City Partnership has set up a website to help flood victims. That website is helpellicottcity.com, and we'll also have a link to that on our website. And of course, we're going to be continuing to update you throughout the afternoon, online, on social media, and right here on TV 11. And we will have team coverage tonight at 6. We'll see you then.